This is Mark Whitten.
This is Adam MacArthur.
This is Ann Yatko.
This is Molly Chung.
Hey everybody, this is Michael Yurchak.
This is Daquan Wilshire.
This is Lexi Nieto.
This is Rico Fajardo, and you're watching.
And you're listening to Spoiler Force Podcast. Set your heart ablaze.
All right, so this is episode 164 of Spoiler Force Podcast. My name is Ricky, and thank you for tuning in. So I have my cousin By Kouki with me, Michael. He was with me this past weekend at the Fan Expo Dallas 2023 event, which was June 9th to 11th. Unfortunately, we were not able to show up on Sunday. We just had our own personal things going on. My mom was actually in town too, so I had to, I had to attend to that and help my mom get ready to leave and all that stuff. So love you, Mom, and thank you for showing up during the weekend too with us. And yeah, it was fun. So this is going to be a little bit different this time around. Usually it's always like happy, good things, but man, this past weekend was a bit rough, I'm not gonna lie. But before I even get into that, or before I don't want to say speak negatively, but maybe constructive criticism. Oh my god, I'm like choking the words today. Before my constructive criticism, thank you to Dana Cobb and the press team for Fan Expo. If it was not for them, we would not get our press passes. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much. Dana has been super accommodating to anyone with press and just helping us get to the event and making rules clear on what we should do and what we can and can't do. So thank you, Dana, again. If you're listening to this, please, I'd love to have you on the show just so that we can talk about how those processes works for just not just Fan Expo events, but for how you organize this stuff too. But yeah, let's just get on right to it, man. Fan Expo. I know that for you, Michael, you weren't able to show up on Saturday due to
Friday.
work.
Friday.
Oh, Friday. Yeah, Friday. Oh, my bad. You weren't able to show up on Friday due to work.
Yep.
So my mom and I went on Friday. Friday was good. Friday was a good day. Parking wasn't too bad. It was very simple. A lot of the people were like, I think a lot of the folks that were able to come on Friday already picked up their passes on Thursday, because Thursday they let folks come and pick up their badges early, so that way you don't have to like fight in line. But Friday was smooth. I'm not gonna lie, Friday was smooth. It was a little bit hot in the Artist Alley area, but that's pretty much it. It wasn't nothing too bad. Just made our rounds, looked at which vendors were there. Shout out to Rari and Polly, Artgerm, and his crew, the Artgerm Collectives. I think that's what it is. Who else was there? Shane Sour Art. Shout out to him. We saw him and his wife there. And I think that's pretty much, at least the folks that I recognized. Seeing them at multiple cons as well. But yeah, man, like I guess I'll just start off with like who I met at the event before going on to the whole Artist Alley thing, because I think Artgerm is pretty much the big piece of my Friday. So my mom and I went, we met some cosplayers, and we helped her with her TikTok stuff because she wanted to like take pictures with people and kind of like showcase the floor and all that, because this is her first con. So I showed her around what we do. How I am, Michael. When we make our rounds, I'm like, all right, this is where we're going, this is where we're going, this is where we're going. So like it's pretty clear on like how our day is planned, along with like taking photos of people and trying to just cover the event in general, and plus like trying to fit times and into panels. So like with everything going on, it was just very fast paced. And so once I got done meeting the folks I wanted to meet, like Daniel Panabaker, Leslie Baker from The Office, Stanley, who else did I meet on Friday? Ralph Macchio, Karate Kid. My mom wanted to meet him, so we waited in line for him. And shout out to him and his I don't know if it was his manager or the guy that helped ran his booth. Like the guy hooked us up. Me and my mom actually got like a really good deal out of meeting him, getting our combos and like pictures and autograph with him. And so that really made my day, seeing how happy my mom was meeting Ralph Macchio, who is her like teenage crush, because she grew up with the Karate Kid and The Outsiders and all that, and pretty much Ralph Macchio's like movie career growing up as a young teenager. So that was fun. And then like pretty much Artist Alley, like I'm surprised that they had Artgerm and his crew like dead in the middle of Artist Alley, like right in the middle of the walkway. Usually, I thought that they'd put them. I don't, Michael, you remember where they had Jim Lee last year, right? How he was in like
Yeah.
the corner section, like not in the back, but like right towards the end of Artist Alley, like before you make that little turn, and then like it all
Yeah.
connects. I thought that Artgerm and his team was gonna be in that area, like in that little facility right there, just like together. But I don't know how you felt about it, but just seeing them in the middle like that, it was very um crowded, easily crowded, because a lot of folks who were there to get their like cover art or prints signed by Artgerm.
I mean, I think it was. If I put some thought into it, um, yeah, it's a lot more crowded over there. I mean, even though they took up like four spaces like consecutively, um, but I think altogether it was easily spottable because last year when we were looking for Jim Lee's booth, like you had to like have already walked through Artist Alley deep into it, and then he's just in this section off to the side. And even there, the line probably would worked out better in that situation because you can get in line and you're not intruding on the passerby traffic. But it was a lot easier to spot like where the Art German collective team was, and like obviously they have like all their prints and merch and comic book covers on display, so it gave a lot more visibility um over their stuff and merch. So now that you mention it, I am kind of at a on the fence about that, but yeah.
I like that it was like it was easier to, like I said, it's easier to spot, but it's just, man, that crowd area, it was just like
Yeah.
dead middle, so it's, I don't want to say it's like a safety thing, but it's just, when people are walking by, they don't know, a lot of people tend to like walk and stop and look and not keep going. So like they had like the line for Artgerm like zigzagging, like how they do the celebrities. And so people would walk by and just look and stare off. And then like the traffic doesn't keep moving. Like you like bro, like you gotta, if you're not
Yeah.
buying anything, you're not doing anything, go. Like I've encountered that so much this past weekend.
The funny thing is though, like, okay, yeah, I've encountered that, but then it just nothing against the anyone at all. It's just my own personal motive where I'm just like, I just want to walk this Artist Alley lane and just look at the stuff, but it's moving at a snail's pace. Like your mind is moving literally a lot faster than your feet, because there's the person in front of you just stops to look. But then I realized that was me a couple of times, because a couple people like kind of like slightly nudged me, because I'm like, oh, okay, I'm sorry, because I'm just stopping and looking, or you don't really know exactly where you need to stand in order to, like, if there's someone already talking to an artist that you want to go talk to or purchase art from, you don't know, okay, do I stand to the left, do I stand to the right? I can't stand behind because I'm in their ways. It's just, yeah, there was just so many people. Yeah.
Yeah, even on Friday, dude. Like I know Artgerm was pretty slammed on Saturday. Like I said, we don't know what happened on Sunday, so I know on Saturday he was pretty slammed, but Friday was all right. But then still, just a lot of people were excited to see him, because it's a rare appearance that him and his team show up like that and all together, really. And when I did get to meet him, it was really, he was really nice. He's very outgoing, which I was kind of caught off guard by his like his personality. I thought he'd be more timid. Like the
Mhm.
other artists were like Kunka and Derek Chu was nice, dude. Derek Chu was really cool. But like Lyrics, Kunka, and I didn't meet the other guy, Ikejiri, I think that's how you say his name. The one that did I think he did the Cami art. But
Mhm.
they're more reserved, and Lyrics was very shy, but she was really cool too. Like I'll talk about their panel in a bit, because I think she was my favorite out of the ones that came this past weekend. But yeah, like they were just really reserved, really cool, very polite. Artgerm, man, I think I gotta say this, man. I was not expecting to see their commission prices like that.
Oh my god.
Dude, like
I was
I was
gutted, bro.
Dude, I was like not prepared. I know that, like, you dabble in art too, so like I know that that's how they eat. But man, like I just was not expecting those kind of prices. Like, even the celebrities at their tables, like that's not what they had for Artist Alley was almost double the amount you'd pay for at celebrity tables or autographs.
Yeah, and
And
it's kind of like what I told you though. It's just like it didn't really dawn on me until like, um, you know, I thought back to some of the information that I saw when I told you this already, but I'll go ahead and say this so if anyone's watching to help kind of rationalize, because if you think it's
yeah,
like it's like exuberant or it's just like way overboard on the pricing, you gotta understand that. Let's just say if you put his commission price just even half, because it was what, like was it 400 or 800 for black and white?
it was 400, and then like a full portrait, like with color
Yeah.
and all that, was like 1600.
Yeah. But yeah, because let's just say that if his full color portraits were even just like $200, right? More people would be wanting to do it, but because of how big he is, how many people would actually be doing it? He would probably have
Yeah.
like hundreds of commissions to do in just one weekend. And mind you, he's got panels to do. He's got to, rearrange his booth and manage his booth. And then he's, got his whole team to look after too. So it's one of the luxuries that you do kind of get, that you've gained from growing as an artist, but at the same time, the commission prices are reflected upon like what you are capable of doing. Not so much like of your skill or how much you feel like you deserve as an artist. It's more so just like, the demand for it. Like if I said it any lower, the demand is going to go higher than what he can actually supply. So it's
Right. And he wouldn't be
it
able
all
to cater
made
to
sense.
everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, when you broke that down to me this past weekend, it made a lot more like it made a lot more sense for me. Like, I'm not saying like he should
don't get me
lower
wrong.
prices.
I wish it was lower. Like there was
Yeah.
there was a bit of optimism, just like, I can finally, you know what, 500 for a commission. I'm pretty sure I could dish that out. But
Dude,
then I saw them.
like even with Kunka, dude, I asked Kunka because Kunka's marquee was, I think only 180. But then I asked him, like, I was like, yo, like, is there any way we can like work this out if I got like a smaller paper or card? He's like, what are you talking about? I was like an index card. And he's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I can do that. It'll be like just $80. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, damn, that's not bad. Like I would consider that. So I was like, well, I don't have any index cards on me. So I wanted to ask Artgerm that, but I'm just like, man, do I really want to ask Artgerm, like, can you just draw on like an index card, let alone fucking post it or something? Like,
Yeah.
oh my god, I don't want to like have something like that. And it's just I see why these guys like you see why they're so good though, because they're able to push out that kind of quality content for their fans. So I mean nothing against them, dude. It just I was not, me personally, I was not expecting to see the prices like that. And of course,
Yeah.
following these guys online, you always see them like do Inktober and all that stuff, and then they do auctions
Right.
and stuff like that. So of course it's to gauge these guys' prices. It is, we all know it's pretty high. It's just, man, seeing it in person was just a different feeling.
Well, the other thing too is because like it's the dynamic of, I guess, how you described when you met him, how he was really cheery, happy, and then he's talkative. Because I went Saturday and it was after he had to leave for a panel, and then he came. He had his sign at his desk. I'll be back at 3. When I got there, he immediately was just working on this commission, and he only looked up to me like 2 or 3 times and just said thank you. And I understand he's busy, but it kind of dawned on me that, man, he's probably like maybe 4 or 5 commissions in deep, and hasn't do it because he was just drawing away. So his wife was there to do the whole transaction, but just I can't imagine the amount of stress, because he's one of the I think is the featured artist, right?
Yeah.
Celebrity artist. So Yeah, I'm pretty sure he had his work cut out for him for the week that he has to catch up on. So
Yeah. Also, I wanted to bring this up too because Lee and Hyuk was there, right?
mhm.
And uh, my experience with Lee and Hyuk, I felt so stupid. Like, I love this guy's art from like his Red Sonja and Vampirella to what's his name from The Boys, Homelander to those kind of arts, like and his Spider-Man art that he has. Like I was talking to him and like geeking out and he's just sitting there, he's nodding, but he's also painting at the same time. And I guess he understood the gesture at like what I was saying. Like he knew like I was happy to meet him. And then the guy that works with him was like, I asked him like, hey Lee, is it? I just called him Lee. I was like, hey Lee, is I heard that you had surgery recently on your wrist. Are you okay now? And he was kind of confused. And then his guy came and kind of like told him like, oh yeah, he's talking about like your arm, your right arm, and like he's like, oh yeah, and Lee and Hook's like, yeah, I'm okay, So his manager was telling me, like, yeah, it's kind of difficult for him because at first because he draws on the tablet, so he has to lean on his table. But then when he doesn't do that, then he's just like drawing with his art hand, and he's like, yeah, and we were talking. I was like, thank God it wasn't his art hand because I thought it was his art hand that got hurt the whole time. It was his
Oh
it
yeah.
was his left. I believe it was his left hand. So like we were talking about that, and I just was like just geeking out. I was like, I love your art. You're great. Thank you so much for showing up and stuff like that. And honestly, I don't know if a lot of folks went by his table or not. From what I saw, I just hope he got a lot more love at the show because he's definitely one of the greats too. Like seeing his content. I know that of course Artgerm and his team was the spotlight group. Everyone was there. I spoke with like fans waiting in line. They had like all these stacks of covers like out just trying to get signed. When I met Artgerm, I was telling him like, yo, I have all your Supergirl covers, and because of your artwork, I buy like whatever I see that's yours, I'm buying it. And I even have like this DC comic collective of his artwork. It's like a big hardcover print, hardcover book of his prints. And I was telling him like, I'm so mad because the time I get to meet you, all my shit is back at home in Michigan. Like I can't bring any of that with me. And he kind of just laughed and he's like, yeah, but thank you for the support and all that. But I guess we can just get into the panel. I know you missed out. I felt bad that you missed out on his panel on Friday, the live drawing. Um, but I'll just like quickly talk about it because the what he talked about in this panel was really like insightful for like at least artists. And he kind of did talk about like the business side of things and talked about like how what made him change from like drawing commissions at cons versus like doing them at home. Because I think from what I remember, he was talking about like how when he was at one of these big cons, I forgot which one, but he was talking about like how he saw a lot of artists were always just like keeping their head down and drawing, and even when fans would come and interact with them, like it'd be very quick exchanges, but they continuously draw, and so he had to realize like, man, this is how they make their big money. It's not so much from the consistent money from the sales that they make, but it's also from these big commissions that they do that they have to draw. And so he was talking about that and how you have to balance that as an artist, like that way you don't have to. That way, if you can still make money if you don't sell well with your prints, So I thought that was a great kind of insightful thing that he talked about. And then someone asked a good question about him and burnout, which I wish you were there to hear this answer from him because he talked about like burnout and how he's able to manage his time wisely to where he's consistently drawing, but then he doesn't get tired of drawing. And like I mean, like very like most artists and just artists in general, like he said that even if he doesn't make money, he'd still be drawing. And then that's pretty much like the core of his craft. Like he doesn't care what people say. He's just drawing it because he likes to do it. And the reward of drawing is that people like his stuff and that he becomes popular. Because even in his panel, he was talking about like, he's like, I didn't do this to become popular or to get, I mean, of course it was to try to make money, but then the popularity and the fame came as reward because of that. He just pretty much worked and drew what he thought was good and then did what people liked. And that's why like even in their panel, like when all of them were doing the live drawing for like for the Batman villains, Street Fighter, and the Spider-Verse people, Arjun was like, yeah, dude, like half the time, half the things I draw, I don't even know them. Like I don't have time to read or to play these games. I just know what's hot and I just draw it. I just give my take on it. And then now that he does like cover works for like DC and Marvel, he just does what they have. And it's I thought that was really cool because usually, you know, like coming from your experience too, Michael, like how you say like you need to find like some sort of love for the craft that you're doing. It's kind of like opposite for Artgerm. Like he just does it because he it's what people like.
I mean, I'm pretty sure at one point he didn't want to do that. I mean, you all when you're artists, and I think I can speak on behalf of not all, but you know, a good amount of artists, is that like part of, you know, if you take it back to like at its most elementary stage, you know, you're a kid and you, what do you draw? You draw the things that you like. You like it so much that you draw it. That's kind of like the heart of it. So I'm pretty sure you know, it started at that point, but you know, there, because I remember last year I was talking to Mustafa,
And he was there at the event too.
yeah, he was there too. I couldn't stop by. It was, man, yeah, it was crowded, but I just, because of like the humidity and like how warm it was over there, it was just kind of like, it was a feeling like when you're outside in the heat, like you don't want to waste time, you just want to get in and get out.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the feel. But anyway, so Mustafa was saying last year is that, like, you know, I was asking him, it's like, is there anyone that you feel like most connected to? And he's like in the best way possible. I'm paraphrasing horribly, but he's like, it's kind of just my job. I just draw, like, and not to belittle him, because it's true. Like, there comes a time where the things that you want to draw aren't exactly the things that you're enthusiastic about or that you feel the most connected to. You just kind of have to put something out, and that's, you know, your ability to do so. But then you take a step back and it's like, well, they do it so well. It's like they're able to depict these characters in something that represents, you know, the context, but they know nothing about them or they have no connection to them, you know? So, so I can definitely see that, you know, going, you know, recollecting of my journey of being an Artgerm fan is like a lot of his art. I think as soon as he started getting into the comic covers, he started to branch out a lot more. You know, it's not like he just drew one or two comic book characters. He was drawing, like, I remember this one he did, like, it was like all the DC villains, like on one cover, and it was amazing. But you know, you can't expect him to like all of those those characters. But back then, you know, he was doing the Pepper project, where he would draw his OC Pepper in various different art styles. That was way back in the days when I first found him on DeviantArt. But you know, seeing how his scope of work changed from that to where it is now, it's, you know, I could go on. I'm a huge Artgerm fan. But yeah.
Well, yeah, but I guess we can just get to this part of the panel too, because surprisingly, what they intended to do was after all the live drawings, they were gonna auction the sets. But because I guess, I don't know if it was because of the size of the panel or if Artgerm just felt very giving that day, he just was like, you know, we're just gonna do Q&As and give it away. And you know, fans they answered questions and stuff. Like initially they were asking some hard questions. I guess there weren't that many hardcore fans. I mean, there are hardcore Artgerm fans there, but there wasn't, like, they were asking like very specific questions. You know, like what was like the first DC, or what was the first comic issue that Artgerm like drew, or that was actually published. You know, they were like giving specific time frames and shit like that. And then like each artist would ask like different questions, like, you know, what game do you guys play, or like, you know, if you guys play what's that one new RPG game that people get killed in all the time? It's like, it's almost like damn it, Monk plays it. Our cousin Monk plays it. it's Is it Bloodborne? I
Oh,
don't know. That's not Bloodborne, is it? It's something
Dark
else.
Souls,
No,
like, or Elden Ring, or
Elden Ring. Yeah, they asked an
Okay,
Elden
yeah.
Ring question, and like a lot of folks didn't know. You know, so the moderator had to like tell the team like, hey, can y'all like lighten up on the questions, because I don't think they can answer everything. So like, and you know, some people did win some of the live drawings. You know, unfortunately, I didn't win any, and I was super salty after the panel because I really, really wanted one of Artgerm's free drawings, and that's like a once in a lifetime opportunity. And but of course, if had you been there, I'm sure you would have
This
gotten one
is
for sure, because there was like one question that he asked for his last, I think was it his last or his second last drawing. He was like, "Who has been following me since DeviantArt?" Right? Of course, I knew because of you. I knew that he did DeviantArt. I didn't raise my hand because I thought that there would be like a follow up question, like if he said
right.
like who's my OC or who's this. Only one person raised their hand, and he's like, "You got it." I was like, "Are you?" I was like in my
That
head,
was
like,
it.
Are you fucking kidding me, bro?" I was so
Uh,
salty. I'm like, that's all it took. It went from extremely hard specific questions to that. I'm like, I was, and again, to elaborate, no hate on the team on Artgerm. I'm
you
just
see,
salty. I'm just salty I didn't win. Because like I
out of
would,
the fear, you didn't want to like embarrass yourself.
right, like because even my mom was in there. My mom's like, Ricky, I don't think you know these guys as well as you thought you did, huh? I'm like, I don't think I do, because like I only know of these guys because of my comic book collecting.
Mhm.
Had I not collect comic books, I wouldn't even know who they are. I probably just follow them on Facebook. Like, and just like click like and like their shit without knowing who they are. But because of the DC comics that they or covers that they do, that's when I started getting more invested. But I wasn't like, I'm not like you where I knew his DeviantArt stuff and his OC stuff and then like followed him from there. So like a lot of these fans were like just kind of aside from the ones who won, like the majority were like just they didn't really know. And so after this panel was done, I walk out and I was just so salty. I was just like, in my head, I kind of confirmed like I'm never going to win the lottery type of deal. Like, so like I'm never gonna win anything like I want. So I was
Well, I
pretty.
mean, you can't sell yourself short there, Ricky, because it was also you like not wanting to embarrass yourself.
But aside from that, it's just I don't know if Artgerm and his team ever hears this podcast, please send me a free drawing, which I highly doubt they do. But as fans of their work, man, I'm just glad that they even showed up. Because to an event like this at Fan Expo, knowing how crazy it was, they could have easily just been like, "Oh, we can't come."
Like, I'll be honest, I never thought there would be a day where I would feasibly, okay, maybe I would see him at a con, but I never thought there would be, I would see the day he comes to Dallas.
Mhm.
Um, and I think he said this was his. Did he say this was his first overseas con after COVID? Right.
I don't recall. I know it was Lyrics' first time in the U.S. though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
So.
and speaking of Lyrics, like she was my favorite out of the group because what's really cool about her story is like she was a student of Artgerm. Like she took his
Mhm.
classes and then he bumped her up to like his team. And she was very shy, very very polite too. But like when they asked her questions, like she was just straight up honest. She's like, I like to draw because I like to draw, and I like drawing girls because they have curves, and I like drawing boobies. Like straight up answers like that. And I thought I was like, dude, that's how that's like it's just funny hearing that from like a female artist.
No,
And
it's the I'm sorry.
no, go ahead. It's just like for me, I was really like I wasn't caught off guard, but I just thought it was hilarious how she delivered her answer because she spoke in a very monotone way, and
Mhm.
because she was shy, so like she kept her answers very limited, and it was just the way how she said it. It just seemed so like I guess out of character in a way. Like I don't know her, but like it just seemed like kind of like a movie. She just like I like to draw. It just that's it. It's very simple. Compared to like how Archer would answer. Archer's very like he's very intellectual and he like breaks down his answers and stuff. But then she was very direct and very like straightforward.
It's like, so what made you want to choose art? What was the passion? Like what life experiences brought you? I'm like, I just like drawing girls and curves and boobs and
Yeah, but she was really cool. I actually picked up one of her Chun-Li prints too. And yeah, so I mean I was so caught up in the moment meeting them that I forgot to pass out my podcast cards. But even then, I highly doubt I can get these guys on the show. Like I'm lucky enough to even have Rachta on the podcast, and Rachta is an amazing artist. Like, even
Mhm.
when I took a photo with Artgerm, I sent that picture to Rachta right away. I was like, Rachta, look who I met. I met Artgerm, and she was like, oh my gosh, That's so cool, yo. So shout out to Rashta for that. But yeah, man, I love my Asian artists.
I mean, just to follow up on that, because it's kind of funny. I won't go too far down the rabbit trail, but like, you think that it when you see like a nice, like, not a well drawn female character with a lot, her assets, like, being the main part of the picture, you mostly think that that's, a like a horny guy just drawing that, right? But the truth is, like, there are a lot of female artists who do an amazing job. In fact, a lot of the cultured manga artists out there, we'll just say that, are actually female artists.
Yeah.
So contrary to what you might think, it's not all about what you think it is.
Well, just to add on, like, Sakimi-chan's had a vendor there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
she's
she
one
was
of the
there.
best ones.
Oh,
to-
not
yeah.
she wasn't there, but her art was there. Yeah.
Yeah, so they had a booth there, and she's one of the female artists that draws like that too. So, it's not always guys; it's girls too.
Hey, I mean,
yeah.
more the merrier. More the merrier.
It definitely shows like different skill sets for real. Like, because even like when Artgerm and them were at like talking about like drawing these girls or female characters, Lyric said something about like how the anatomy of drawing a girl is a lot better than, or it's a lot easier than drawing guys.
Mhm.
So I don't think she really broke down. I mean, of course she said she likes to draw female characters more over
Mhm.
male characters, but I guess just like how all the guys, they're all drawing like they're better at drawing female characters than male characters.
I can kind of maybe break that down for you if you'd like, but if I can keep it short. Look, the female figure is a lot more attractive, generally, than the male figure.
If you want to start your own podcast like Spoiler Force, then sign up with Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout has helped hundreds of thousands of users like me to begin their podcasting journey. With easy-to-use tools, you can effectively get your podcast into different platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and more. You can view your stats, create audio clips, and even have your own podcasting website. Buzzsprout offers ideas, tips, tricks, and tutorials to help you improve your podcast. Follow the link below, and once you sign up, you'll get a $20 Amazon gift card. This will let Buzzsprout know that I sent you and will also support Spoiler Force Podcast. If you want a simpler way to record both video and audio for your podcast, then sign up with StreamYard. StreamYard is the perfect program to create podcasts, host live streams, and even do video calls. There are many tools that can help you create and design your own personal studio. You can screen share, read live comments, and stream to different destinations like Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. You can also download your video and audio once you're done with your recording session. Follow the link below, and once you sign up with the basic or pro plan, you'll earn a $10 credit to use for StreamYard. Happy podcasting. On Saturday, which is Prime Day, of course. I'm not gonna lie,
Prime it was, man.
Saturday was rough. I mean, I think in general it was rough for everyone. If anyone was lucky to have their day go well on Saturday, congrats to you. You probably had VIP or ultimate passes,
Or it was your first con, and you're not as like seasoned as we are.
I mean, it's very tough to compare cons from like the year before or the years prior, and last year's Fan Expo was very smooth. I'm not gonna lie, it was very smooth, one of the best cons we've been to. But this year, man, Saturday was just hectic, very very dysfunctional. Put it that's the best way I can put it, because I understand that there was a lot of pressure on the staff and the crew members working there. And shout out to you guys for having the patience to dealing with us attendees and press and whoever else was there. But people in general were fucking rude. Like, it was terrible, man. Like, I was in line for the Rainn Wilson panel, and like some old dude tried to check me on my line. Like, he's like, dude, you're in the wrong line. Like, and I looked, I saw that he had ultimate passes. I'm like, bro, ultimate is in that line. And he was trying to check me in front of my mom. And I was like, dude, are you kidding me right now? I'm about to, like, I'm not confrontational, but then, like, if you're going to try to check me in front of people and make me look stupid, I'm going to be in your face. So I was trying to be professional as I can, because the fucking staff people weren't, the crew members weren't even looking. they were off organizing the other half of the general admission line outside because they didn't want people covering the exit doors because of the fire safety. So as they were organizing the general admission line, me, my mom, and like a few other people, we were at the tail end of that first half of the line. And so the old guy came and like was standing behind us and was like, you guys are in the wrong line. I'm like, dude, ultimate and VIP is in another line. You see those red lines and the red tape, that's your guys' line. Go find your line. And he was trying to act hard in front of me. I'm like, dude, like you're not about to check me in front of my mom. Like I'll throw hands at you right now. and so like I was getting annoyed, and I'm like, dude, if you look at the floor, one says ultimate, one says VIP. Find your line and go. And he looked, and he's like, oh, and he walked away. I'm like, dude, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like people at Fan Expo, and like I said, it's not the showrunners, it's not none of the crew or the staff. People in
It's just
general,
the attendees. It was the people. So
people in general were just assholes at this event, and usually most cons are not like there's always like this general rule of thumb like at cons, like you have to know where you're going. Like a lot of these people, and that's my biggest pet peeve is when people come to cons and they don't know what to do or they don't know where to go. Like you have to do your research on this shit, you know. And so it was a headache dealing with people initially. The panels were great. Don't get me wrong. I only went to like 1 or 2 panels on Saturday. It was impossible to get to like do anything else because of there's so much people, and lines were intensely packed. Dude, we waited for what, James Arnold Taylor. Even his line was packed. Compared to like Shamik Moore, the voice of Miles Morales.
His line was insane, man.
And who else? Like Charlie Cox's line or John Bernthal's line, like or Joseph Quinn from Stranger Things, like everyone's line. I don't know how everyone's day went, so I'm just speaking in general terms here. I'm sure it was hectic for everyone. And like I said, anyone who did have a good time, great job to you guys because you guys got your shit done. But a lot of you one day passers, bro, like a lot of you one day passes are the worst because dude, I saw so many people at this event with Saturday passes who felt the most entitled. Like they were shoving people, they were cutting in line in front of like VIP people or like ultimate passes people. They were just like they did the most, to put it plainly. They did the most. Like they were the absolute worst at this event. I don't know what's going to happen, what Fan Expo plans to do to handle that. I honestly think that they should have capped the Saturday passes because the majority of the people there on Saturday, yes, it is Prime Day, but the majority of those people on Saturday were just one day passers. And like there was people with huge wagons and shit of like merch to carry and get signed. And of course, people who have that shit, they're gonna flip that shit. So those people were in the way. I've heard vendors were having hard times getting into the parking structure and getting their all their stuff in and out. It was just
I can
hell.
imagine.
Yeah, it was just hell on Saturday. But aside from all that hell, I got the majority of what I wanted to do done on Saturday. So the Rainn Wilson panel was fantastic. Anyone of the Office fans, it was a great panel hearing him talk. I'm glad he shaved his beard because like usually he's very like he has a big beard and he looks kind of more comfortable, but he shaved his beard this time around. So my mom was actually glad, like, oh, he looks more like Dwight versus like just being himself, so because my mom was a big fan of Rainn Wilson because of the show. But his panel was great. He hearing him talk and hearing his experiences from doing The Office and then seeing like the resurgence of The Office, like because of streaming services and all that, and then working on his show on Peacock. It was really cool. And then yeah, like I said, I also got to meet the Spy Family cast, which was fantastic. Shout out to Natalie Van Sistine, Megan Shipman, Alex Horgan. I love you guys because I broke my frame for this picture. The frame fell out of my bag and it cracked. I was so mad. I had to get a new one. But then this print here that's done by James Gio, I got all 3 Spy Family members to sign it, which is probably the best part of my day. I guess okay. I'll touch up on Spider-Man's line because I want to get this out. Like as I said before earlier, how we should do our research on what to do at the event. I really wish that like they made this clear for Shamik Moore's line, because the beginning of on Saturday, because he wasn't there Friday, he was only there Saturday, Sunday. The beginning of Saturday, they didn't have any like notification of how his line will work. Of course, because it's obvious the movie just dropped last week, and everyone wants to see the voice of Miles Morales. Like people, I don't know if Fan Expo wasn't aware of how impactful this movie was, but people from like all ages was waiting in line. And then initially when I went, I was like, okay, his line is full. We're gonna go wait in JAT's line. And then after JAT's line, when we went to the photo ops, and then when we came back, they had this billboard or like this board up, and they're like, virtual queue, ticket numbers X to this, and I was like, this wasn't here before. What the hell is this? So I asked the crew member, and nothing against the crew. I asked her, like, hey, what's this for? Like, do we gotta get a ticket and like get in? She's like, yeah. She's like, well, do you have a ticket? I was like, no. Like, would it be possible to even get in if I didn't have one? She was like, yeah, it's not. You're not gonna get a signature if you don't get a ticket. I was like, so how do I get one? She's like, she had it in her hand, and so she's like, here you go. And it was like 900 something, and then the number on the board was like 600. And I'm like, dude, there's no way Shamik Moore is getting 300 signatures by the end of the day. He had a panel on Saturday. There's no way he's gonna get that done. And so I was just like, if I didn't, this was like my biggest loss this past weekend, was like not being able to meet Miles Morales. Like, he was on my list to meet. Of course, I should have been smarter about it. I should have looked into it more, but still, I wish that maybe Fan Expo made something on their website like, hey, we know that this guy's a big draw. Be prepared to not meet him. Like be upfront about it, man. Like they should have said, like, you have. I don't know if they sold his autographs online or not, but definitely for someone of that caliber, they should have made something more aware for attendees.
Pre-sell his
Yeah,
like the tickets and all that. So
yeah, because they did that with other celebrities too. They did that with Joseph
they did
Quinn,
it with the
Charlie
Hobbits,
Cox,
right?
Yeah, and the Hobbits too. You could buy their autograph tickets online. They did that with Rainn Wilson. I don't know why they didn't do that with Miles, with Shamik Moore. If they did, maybe if I did, then I'm wrong. But from what I saw, nothing of that was mentioned. I think for sure whoever's running Fan Expo should be aware that voice actors now are getting up to that caliber of celebrity status, being compared to actual actors or like movie actors or TV show actors. Like a lot of folks who are watching anime, cartoons, and stuff, like that fan base is growing. So they definitely need to be more aware of that for sure. And I guess since we're on like this constructive criticism topic, dude, the photo ops were hell. I'm not holding back in that. Photo ops were hell. I don't know what they were planning. Usually, again, going to most cons, photo ops, we're always told when photo ops happen, we have to be there at least 15 to 20 minutes early, to wait in line. That way we kind of figure out which lane we need to go. Because Michael, I don't know if you did photo ops, but like photo ops have like the lanes of certain, like you go to certain numbered lanes.
I didn't get photo ops, but I saw how it was handled last year, and I saw how it was handled this year. I'm not sure what happened, but it was last year. It was like the way they sectioned it off. It was very clear, and it wasn't as crowded. But this time, like even just trying to get to the restrooms in the back over there, holy crap! It was a fustercluck, like trying to like navigate through that crowd. So I can't imagine how hectic it was. And then I guess what they were doing is they were like, oh, if you raise your hand if you're here for so and so, and everyone. And then they said, okay, we need you, because they were trying to control it, but that just kind of is indicative of like, I guess, the organization structure that they had already. So it, again, not having any experience being in that line or getting photo ops, but just from the outside of perspective, it was hairy in there.
Yeah, like, excuse me. Our photo op with Rainn Wilson, me and my mom. Excuse me. Me and my mom, we were an hour and a half late, like due to our photo ops. We got there at 12:45. That's we just got done meeting James Arnold Taylor, and we went to our photo op, and then we waited and we were like, okay, we kind of got the idea that we're going to be a little bit late, because they were still organizing the groups. Dude, we didn't get to our photo op with rain until like an hour and a half, so like maybe like 1, almost 2 o'clock, you know.
Mhm.
And it was just the lady at the photo op booth. I don't know if she was with the Fan Expo staff or if she was with the photography team. Whoever she was the most rude person ever. I understand she was frustrated, but man, she was talking to everyone like they were kids. Like she's like, we're not letting you guys go until you guys back up, and it's not the people in the front that can't back up. It's the people in the back who are not willing to back up. So like they were not making things clear. Dude, you got people who aren't even crew members shouting orders to the back. Like it wasn't until it got so chaotic where they finally brought out speakers and microphones and we're like, all right, we need this group, we need this group, we need this group. Even the security guard came and was like trying to push everyone. He's like, fire marshal is going to shut this place down if you guys don't clear the fire lane and all that shit. It was hell. And it was the worst experience I've ever had with photo ops. Even like other big conventions that I've gone to, photo ops were never that bad. Photo ops are a guaranteed picture with these celebrities. You're supposed to get in, get out, get in, get out. It's not like waiting in line for an autograph. So I don't know what the hell the photo op team was doing or whoever was handling this. They definitely need to talk to these people. I don't know if the staff at Fan Expo is even going to do it. I'm just saying, as someone who did press and as someone who has been an attendee for events like this, it was super chaotic. I did not enjoy it. I wish it could have been better. I'm just gonna be straight honest. If this affects my press pass opportunities in the future, it does. I'm just gonna be honest because like it was not fun.
I mean, I'm sure that the Fan Expo staff who are coordinating the event that they're aware of the where things kind of fell off, and we're pretty confident because you guys are very, you run a really big event here, like probably one of the biggest events here in the DFW area, and we love this event. We love being able to come and be in the atmosphere, see our artists, especially the celebrities, because for some people, like this is their one and only opportunity to meet some of the celebrities that they've they're either currently a fan of or grew up watching their movies and stuff. We love this event, and we know that you're doing your best. And again, this is at no way to take jabs at you guys, and saying that you guys messed up or anything like that. We know that you did your best, and we're sure that you guys are going to make some take some measures to improve on this. So we're looking forward to it. One of the reasons why I guess Ricky is speaking the way he is, because again we do this because we love it, and we want it to be a good experience. We know that you know this, so
yeah, it's definitely tough when you love an event and come like again. All events are not perfect. There's always going to be issues, and it's always going to because it's always going to it's a people filled event. There's always going to be problems and issues, and it's not like the staff can control everything that goes on. But it just so happened that this past weekend was a lot more difficult because of course this was a record breaking event. Even seeing it online, like tickets are selling fast and all that. It was record breaking. Tons of people were coming. And it's just I don't know, dude. Like I wanted to enjoy this event and cover this event as best I could. Opportunities like that couldn't happen because of what happened during like the lines and waits and just the sea of people. Like it was just hard. Like excuse me, even like taking pictures of people like it was difficult to do because you can't just stop them in the middle of the walkway, because there's everyone's around you, and I'm not that type of person to be like, hey, let me take this video and picture of you when there's hundreds of people standing behind you trying to get through. It wasn't like even not just in the main room, right? Like where Artist Alley or celebrities were, even on the outside where people were sitting on stairs. People were sitting on stairs. People were like sitting on like we had to stand at the rails, next to the escalators because there was no space to relax or sit. Like people were outside. There was just so many people at this event going in and out, and it was just so much to handle. And honestly, I think because that's why we couldn't.
I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, I'm sure this is a learning experience because, like, again, if you look at it for Fan Expo, 'cause if you look at how last year went, it was already crowded enough, but it wasn't nearly as like hectic to navigate through than it was this year. This year, like, when you're on the floor, I felt so lost because, like, I was like, there's so many people around, like, because last year, they had the red carpet area, which is the main flow of, the main hall of the whole dealer and exhibitor area. I couldn't even find that because of how many people were there, and it's really hard. If I can kind of rationalize for them, because, like, Kay Bailey Hutchison is like probably the biggest convention center in the Dallas area. So, I mean, there's no way to, like, unless they expand it into different halls within Kay Bailey, which may be something to consider. But it's with what they had. I'll be honest. If I was coordinating it, there's you can only prepare for so much chaotic uncertainties. So I'm looking forward to next year to see how they improve on this, because again, I'm sure it's nothing that they didn't notice or aren't considering. So we just want to keep going to this event that we love.
Yeah,
So
definitely. Like, again, like a lot of the things we're saying, it's not against the expo team or fans or
it's just general gripes. Like,
yeah.
we're
Just
giving our honest feedback. So
it's definitely what we experienced this past weekend, and I'm sure there. I mean, again, if you were lucky, if fans were lucky, the attendees were lucky enough to get their stuff done and had a great time. Great job to you guys. But I know that there was a lot of other fans who had a very disappointed experience as well, and definitely, like, seeing from what they post on the fan pages and all that, it was rough. And I'm not gonna lie, even I had a rough time. And that's why sadly we weren't even able to make it on Sunday, dude, because we kind of knew it was, aside from like my mom having to help my mom get home, like generally, like I was just exhausted. I think Saturday just beat the hell out of us, like just trying to navigate through everyone, and just like it was just so much all at once. It was a lot to take in, and like I said, dude, like because the lines and everything was so bad, like it was hard to even make it to certain panels that we wanted to go to, because by the time we got done with certain things, like things that the other things that we wanted to go see was either in the middle of or done. And even then, like the lines for people are in lines for those things, so I don't.
my
Go ahead.
my friend who also went to the event got there after us on Saturday. I think probably like around 12 or 1 that they got there, and around 2 I was texting him like, hey, where you at? Can we, trying to meet up? They're like, oh, we're already tired as tired as fuck, so like we're gonna go find a place to sit down. I'm like, you've only been here for like 2 or 3 hours. We've been here for that. I mean, it just goes to show like how much energy like it takes out of you, like just trying to just navigate and to get through the convention. So it explains, and even the whole resting area, it was, oh man, like you
The
said, the
resting
fact that we
areas
had
had
to,
no places, no rest.
yeah, like I understand why people were sitting on the stairs, because we had to sit by the guardrails on the escalator over there.
Yeah,
Even over there was packed because there were lines for the exhibit rooms that they were doing the panels at. So
then the upstairs area, yep. But okay, so as we come towards an end here, I want to leave on a positive note. When we met James Arnold Taylor, what was your thoughts on that? Finally meeting the voice of Titus, or Titus from Final Fantasy X. Like,
it was awesome. You grow up playing that game, and it was the first voiced Final Fantasy, so hearing his voice, and I mean, even though he was doing the Obi-Wan's voice
yeah,
more, but just seeing him, his energy and everything. And it's funny because he had he was like, this is my wife, that's my daughter, my daughter's my manager. I'm like, that's so awesome that like he gets his family involved. But he had such a great energy, and I'm glad we were able to meet him, because you almost jinxed it, because we were like two or three people away, and you were saying that watch, he's probably gonna have to go to a panel or go on lunch or something like that, and we're not gonna and then sure enough they said that. But it was great. I'm glad we got that opportunity. I know you're a much more bigger fan of him than I am. But no, yeah, no, it was great, and thanks for letting me be in the picture with you. I know I was on the edge about it, but
No,
I don't want to intrude.
No, because I know you grew up playing with the music and the game, so like I might as well have you meet the voice of Titus. You know, for me it's more so like I've been trying to get him on the show for the past year and a half.
Mhm.
I know that he's very limited with his time. I know that recently he's jumped on a few podcasts. Like he said, his family is his wife or his daughter is the manager. So like it's when I spoke to him, I was really honest with him. I was like, look, I don't know how to reach you because I've tried every way I can, Instagram, Celebworks, and all that stuff. Like I've sent emails to every outlet as I can just to try to get you on the show. Gave him a card. Um, he was very nice and polite about it, but we'll see, man. Like he's on my bucket list for actors to be on the show. If I get him, I'll be more than happy. If I don't, then it's whatever. But if anyone who is associates or friends with James Arnold Taylor, please send him my way. But I was just like geeking out because I already met him last year, but meeting him again, it was the same feeling. Like because I listened to his podcast and all that stuff too. So, he was just one of the best guests to meet at any convention. But yeah, dude, I want to end it on that note because he's actually on the thumbnail for this episode. So shout out to James Arnold Taylor. Again, thank you Fan Expo for having this event, hosting this event, running this event. As chaotic as it was, overall, it was still a good time. I'm looking forward to Dallas Fan Festival, which is in the fall. I think they've already announced the dates for October. I'm on the fence if I want to go apply for press passes because I know that after San Diego, I'm definitely gonna be like conned out. So
That's gonna be I have a feeling that you're gonna take your limiting here, and I feel like when you go to San Diego Comic Con, it's gonna be like 10 times worse.
yeah, I don't know. I'm honestly like I don't know how I'm gonna be at San Diego. I mean, of course, I'm not doing press or anything, so it's all like just me, like it's just me and our other cousins and our friends. But still, it's just like I think after San Diego, I think I'll be conned out for life. I think I'll be good. I've been going to cons like for the past several years now, and having a decent amount of experience. I think I'll be done with cons after San Diego, but we'll see. I mean, there's still like Anime Frontier. I really want to try to get pressed for Anime Frontier in this winter. But other than that, I think maybe after that, maybe I'm not saying I will be, but maybe by that time I'll be done with cons after that. But yeah, any last?
They're getting big, so no,
Yeah.
big means more hectic. But if any last words, you know, Stanley Artgerm, I don't know if you're gonna watch this or not, but if you do, thank you so much again for gracing us with your presence here, and sharing your art and your team with us, and giving us the opportunity. For me personally, one of my biggest art heroes that I look up to, and hugely inspired my art. And also to Eric Basildua. It was nice meeting you, and thanks. I'm glad I'm glad I was able to grab one of your prints. But yeah, those are. Thanks, Fan Expo, again for the opportunity.
Well, yeah. So again, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Spoiler Force. Make sure you follow Michael Art by Kouki on his Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. I'll have the links in the description and all that. Again, nothing against Fan Expo. I just want to make that clear. Nothing against Fan Expo, dude. Like it's just it was just our experience, our take on this, and of course we're just covering the event. But definitely, I can't wait to see what future changes they might have. Definitely a learning lesson for all of us to go to future cons and stuff like that. But overall, I was glad that I was able to meet who I met, and same for you as well, like to be able to meet Artgerm and all that. So I got nothing else more to say. Just it was a great event in general. Just very chaotic at times, but yeah,
we'll get over it. We'll get over
yeah.
it.
I mean, it's just like I said, it's just a lot of things happening all at once. But to end things for sure, it's just to stop my rambling. To end things for sure, it was good. was a good event, and I'm very appreciative of my opportunities to do press for Fan Expo. And again, thank you to Dana who runs the press team, because my opportunities with Fan Expo would not happen if it wasn't for her. So thank you to Dana, and yeah, so thank you guys so much. This is episode 164, and have a great day.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to give a review and rate Spoiler Force Podcast. If you want to get all Spoiler Force updates or even peeks at behind the scenes, you can join the Spoiler Force Discord community. And if you'd like to show support, give tips, recommendations, sponsorships, or any collaborations, you can email me at rickyvang92@gmail.com.